and then we'll get started. There we go.
You got the clap this time.
Yeah.
I have to. Adobe Premiere Pro is very smart, but you can make it even easier if you have a really big noise that everything hears. To start us off. All right, guys, here we are again on this lovely Saturday morning. This is the Misshifter
The Misshifter?
Misshifts podcast. It's a tongue twister.
Still keep confusing it and thinking it's the Misfire podcast.
Yeah, well,
but I think I'm misfiring. Sometimes.
Yeah, hey, some days
it's been a long week.
Yeah,
right. We're not on all cylinders. Electric cars, guys. Electric
EVs.
EVs.
No carbons. No dino juice.
Well, at least not from the
not
vehicle,
from the emissions from the vehicle itself, but all the we can get into
emissions.
it doesn't make pollution for the environment. BS, right? Lithium is like really, really bad for the environment.
Yeah, I mean, just
when you mine it and
precious metals are just hard to get, and then all it goes into like digging that out of the ground.
There's so much the funny thing about this whole EV thing is, one, it's political, right? Some of it is very political.
Sure.
Two is like industry-ish, like how much more do you want to offset your carbon emissions with EVs? Again, that's kind of a political thing / industry thing.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, that's like a mini rant by me.
Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. I have strong opinions about EVs.
But it does show some real promise.
It does show a lot of promise,
does.
yeah. It's just America versus everybody else.
In what regard?
Just like adoption.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Well, we can sit by and get left behind as the rest of the world advances.
We could, which is continuously happening in a lot of different areas besides EVs, but that's a topic for another day.
Yeah. All right. Let's bring it back.
Okay.
What are we talking about again?
Electric vehicles.
Okay. Where we should start?
All types, not just full battery electric.
All types.
Hybrids, plug-ins.
Yes. So Phevs, BEVs, every V, E, EV.
But not those crappy, the Toyota, what was it called? Toyota Mirav, the hydrogen car?
But that's not electric. That's
it's not.
That's hydrogen combustion engine.
It just ran on hydrogen, didn't charge a battery and then...
BMW did that in the early 2000s.
It was a huge failure.
What car?
750
series.
HL. E38
Yeah.
ran off of a modified M73 V12.
Yeah.
M539 Restorations currently has one of those engines that he's built up to put in one of his E31s to run off of gasoline. But
okay.
Interesting.
Anyways, all right.
So electric vehicles. I guess I'll start out talking about, since I'm always going first, my opinions on the electric vehicle. I love electric cars. I think that once the automakers got past making every electric car look like an egg, which some of them still do, they won't be named, but once once the electric car started to look more like what the rest of the fleet was looking like, or even just have their own unique styling that kind of brought them into 2024, just like the times that we're in. I think that's when I started to really fall in love with electric cars. As much as I love sound, I'm completely okay with having a soundless vehicle. But even the electric cars, they have their own unique kind of sound.
They do. Can I just say that I think it's really cool that a car can silently blow away a Hellcat?
Right.
I mean, there's just something to be said.
No drama.
Yeah.
No nothing. Just
go.
Gone.
Well, by law, though, they have to make some type of sound, though.
So
or you'll run over all the small children.
The federal regulation is...
at low speed.
Yes, it's under 25 miles an hour. The car has to have some sort of...
like whirring,
sound.
Something.
Some automakers have taken this more seriously than others, and so personally, I like the way Audi sound. They have a really good, like a faux engine sound, but it's very like electric sounding, and it sounds like something out of a movie where the car just kind of rolls. I'll have to like edit a clip of it, but like the car is just kind of... roll in and they make like a very distinct, like that is a Audi e-tron product arriving.
I think it'd be really cool if all EVs sounded like speeder bikes from Star Wars.
Speeder bikes.
Oh yeah,
You know, going through the Redwood Forest.
yeah.
I feel like since we're on EV sound, I had the opportunity to go see the Cayman GT4 E Club Sport at the Goodwood Festival of Speed a few years ago.
Snap, yeah.
And hearing
Doesn't that thing have like 1,000 horsepower?
it does.
More?
It does. I think that is like the EV standard, if not like the supercar standard these days is 1,000 horsepower.
That's the same car that was at Rinsport reunion.
Yep.
Yeah. That thing was otherworldly sounding.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have a cool, distinctive sound, whether if it's just, drivetrain noises, but it's something that you wouldn't get to hear normally over the sound of an engine.
True, yeah.
As far as economical, political impact, environmental impact for EVs, I've done light research.
Okay.
I can't say that I'm like, yeah, it's saving the trees, or no, it's actually killing the trees, and we'll get into that. But me personally, I believe in balance, and I believe moving fully towards all EV is dangerous, just as keeping everything gas is just as dangerous. So I think a blend, honestly, a PHEV or plug-in hybrid or mild hybrid of some sort, I think that is the best solution. Although I enjoy having a fully electric car, I enjoy having a fully gas car, and I think blending those is probably the best for the average U.S. consumer. How do you guys feel?
At this time.
Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy, go.
No, go ahead, Jeremy. You're on it. You're
just
on it.
One comment. I agree with you at this time.
At this time. Okay.
I think as the technology advances, that's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
to like full EV or like full plug-in or like not even plug-in, not any hybrid, full EV.
In time, I think we'll see full EVs become the norm as charging times drop. As range right now is getting pretty long. Almost.
What's the longest range you can get, like commercially?
Over 500 miles on the EPA cycle, which obviously
is that like,
your
is that like a
mileage may
Lucid Air or something?
Yes.
Okay, but not everybody can afford a $80,000,
This is true.
luxury.
But as much as I hate Teslas, they do a good job for the budget electric
So
vehicle.
what's like? Let's say sub $60,000. How much mileage can I get? What's the max miles I
over
can
300.
You can get over 300.
Over 300? Anything.
Not anything, but there are available vehicles.
Any Hyundai eGMP platform vehicle.
Good,
Yep.
really
So
good.
Ioniq
Right?
5, EV6.
Yeah.
Which are
Whatever else. GV60.
Who are the worst actors in this? I feel like all the Polestars are like not great.
well.
Or Subaru.
Are we talking?
Subaru.
Are we talking just like
that's a
range?
Toyota.
Are we just talking about electric range?
I don't know
or
if
are
there's
we
a way.
talking-
Like, there's got to be like an Excel spreadsheet out there that calculates like the cost per charging mile or max EPA. Like which one is like the crappiest one? It's something like miles per gallon, right? Like
which like car
Toyota
versus-
BZ4X.
We were just looking at this.
we were just looking at that. Yeah.
/ Subaru Solterra.
Yes, and
Yeah.
then also the
And some
Lexus RZ.
It's all the same platform,
All the
isn't
same
it?
car.
Yeah.
Why is it just because it has a small battery, or just? It's a lot
I
of
haven't done
factors,
the
right?
research.
You've got
I'm not a fan though.
powertrain.
It's a really
so you've got
weird looking car.
Yeah.
you've got the motor, you've got the software that talks between the motor and the battery technology in itself, the charging tech, and then the how you, or whatever the. I had to take some electrical engineering classes.
You're
Because,
doing great.
I hate myself, and it's like the capacitance, right? How you discharge that, right? There's also technology in that. So the crappier of a job you do with that, the worse mileage you get.
Right.
I'm assuming.
Yes, that weight.
Oh, weight.
If we want to talk about
aerodynamics.
weight,
Yeah,
we're
weight,
gonna get into a car that I'm
Coast.
very excited about is the Escalade IQ, but the first GM car that's on that platform is the Hummer EV. That car weighs 9,000 pounds.
And it's not allowed to drive on like certain bridges in the U.S.,
James,
right?
because it's literally carving its own path into the asphalt
Yeah, it's
as you
wild.
drive by.
Dude, that's insane.
So
So
James,
bad.
let's hear your
what my thoughts on
Yeah.
EVs are.
We got
I-
off
so
got off on a tangent.
I kind of consider me liking EVs the way I never got into like an Apple Watch. So for a long time, I was like, Apple Watches are stupid. Why would you want a computer on your wrist? That's so dumb. Why can't you just tell time with like just a regular watch or your
A nice
phone or
Seiko.
like your phone or whatever? And then finally, I think one day I was renting, before I bought cars, I was renting a lot of cars on Turo. And there was a Tesla that came up for rent on Turo. And it was kind of cheap. It was like maybe $200 for the day. It was a Tesla Model 3 PD performance dual motor. I was like, ooh, that's like the fast one. So I rented it. I did like it had, I think, a 270-mile charge on it. I think it goes up to like 300 max, or 310 max, but the person put 270 on it. And I had like the whole range anxiety like go through me. And I had four big people in the car. We drove from San Francisco to San Jose, messed around there, had dinner, and then went back. I had about 70 miles left on the charge on the car. And I still had this anxiety of range. I don't have a charger at home, but I was giving away the car anyways, right? I was renting the car.
Yeah.
But in terms of like performance, capability, like the weight, the skateboard style frame and all the weight being, center of gravity being low, dual motor. It was like we had some really bad, crazy weather happen. Felt really safe in the car. But just in terms of like the effortlessness of just stepping on the gas, the accelerator, was definitely changing. It was just like my brain cannot comprehend with all the people in the car. There's no turbo lag. There's no supercharger. There's no revving or whatever. It's just literally like it's like a computer game. It's like playing Gran Turismo. It's just pressing the A button on your controller, and you're just doing, let's say I was doing like 50 or 60 on the highway. We're doing like 100 miles an hour. Like this is it really took me aback, and it took me like kind of a couple minutes to comprehend on like how that worked and how that happened. I took engineering classes that we were trying to figure out like, for a hybrid car, is a series car better, or is a car in parallel better, right? You have a motor that charges an electric battery, or do you have a hybrid system, right, that goes back in between? But like this completely was like, no, like it's either, for me, it's like either all electric or nothing, in my opinion. Like hybrid is really good. Plug-in hybrid is really good, but I feel like there's no, I don't know, there's really no middle ground for me. But I kind of like that experience with the Tesla, the P3D was changing. I was like, okay, I'm a convert now. Like and I actually went out and like, not now,
Bought
but
an
like,
Apple Watch?
I bought an Apple Watch. I was
Like,
like,
I must
okay,
have.
I get it. I understand it now. I could see why a lot of people are buying Teslas, but we kind of live in a bubble here because we have such a stout charging network that it makes sense.
Yeah.
But eventually the charging network has been built, especially the Tesla charging network is getting built over time. Like really big in Chicago, the New York metropolitan New York City area, Texas, obviously,
Right.
LA,
Any major city.
Denver. Yeah. So I'm a convert, I used to poo-poo on it. Like, electric cars are for people that just like bean count and like don't have souls or whatever. Like, I don't know. There's this stigmatism, or there's a stereotype, people that buy BMWs or Mercedes or
Right.
Ferraris or Porsches. I kind of bucketed people that bought Teslas or bought certain EVs like in that. Yeah. But then at the same time, like, okay, I understand. But my problem is similar to the comment about Hondas being an appliances.
Right.
It still falls into that category for me as I just want to get to A to B.
Very much so.
And that's it. And the great thing about the Tesla is, or just any other EV, is it's a set it and forget it. You literally just start, like, you just turn it, literally, technically it's already in sleep mode. They're always on. It's just a matter of like, hey, I'm in the car and I press the accelerator, I'm off. Versus like a car, you have to, turn on the car, wait for it to warm up. There's all, it's kind of like a pomp and circumstance to starting a car.
Yeah.
Whereas the EV is just like, it's so mindless.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I could do so much more chores in it. Like I never would have to think, like in my BMW, like, do I really want to drive to CVS today? Right.
I need to check the oil.
Yeah, I need to check
Right.
the oil. Right. Like it just makes doing chores or certain things with a car so painless that it made me just want to just go out and be like, oh, I'm just going to pick up like a pint of ice cream because I can,
Right.
not thinking about it versus like, do I really want to use my BMW to go buy like a $3 pint of ice cream because I'm going to use like $6 in gas to go get it? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, So I'm a convert, but I do have very strong opinions about EVs and, where the industry is going with it and how it kind of affects enthusiasts and politically how it all nets out. But that's where I'm at with EVs. They're good, but not great.
I want to agree with some of the things you say. I enjoy the usability of just hopping in an electric vehicle, like you said, and just going. It simplifies a lot of daily tasks, and all the way down to, like you said, you just sit in it and you go.
Yeah.
And a lot of automakers are kind of adapting that. I think about the ID4 commercial where the dad is getting in and out of the car because it just like automatically fires up when he sits down. And goes.
Oh yeah, that's a feature, right? Yeah.
They just make it very seamless. They make it just like, I don't have to think about anything. I can just use this car,
It's a tool.
But
right.
to be clear, not all EVs automatically fire up.
No, that is not the case.
So like the Ioniq still has a
Do not
start button.
Try to go sit in your Honda. It will not take off. I would have to agree. I think they work really well. But also you brought up infrastructure in charging. That's like one of the points. I did like an entire like school project on this is can we sustain everybody on an electric vehicle, and what would our power plants look like, and where are we going to get all this energy from? Fortunately, because everybody isn't an early adopter, we have not run into this issue yet.
We're getting there.
Yes. Because imagine
Are we
if everybody...
getting there? Are we getting there because of our like a consumer side of things, right? Like, ooh, today, honey, we're going to go buy an EV car. Or is it the government is offering almost like $4,000 or $5,000 off this thing?
$7,500.
But
yes.
That's
a really funny
I
thing.
feel like there's a difference between early adopter and like a true early adopter. Like, I'm going to go out and buy an iPhone for $1,500 because I think I love Steve Jobs and the tech is cool versus, hey, Apple is having, I got hot deal, 50% off, or like AT&T will give you the phone for free as long as you have like a 3-year plan with us, right?
Right.
So that for me is like, what really is driving the consumer side of like people buying EVs? Like, is it Jeremy? Like,
I think we're still
in the early days.
In the early adopters, early days. If you look though, you hear the EV market is crashing or sales are softening and whatnot. It's not necessarily true. I think Tesla's sales are down this year, but I think overall EV sales are up. They're still a very small portion of overall car sales.
So the entire car market is at, I was reading this somewhere, the entire car market is at a 70-day supply at dealers, which is technically optimal, but
that's good, right?
But they're on the bad side of it, as in like, just everything. Worse. Yeah, everything
so
just
everything's
isn't
not selling.
Supply's getting up, going up.
Yes. Does somebody have a fact about the percentage of total sales? How, like, what makes up EVs? Like,
Jeremy, you talk for a minute, and I'll get the information.
Let's Google that. So, let me expand. I agree with you.
Okay.
On the all or nothing.
Okay.
So full disclosure, my wife drives an Ioniq 5.
Yeah.
It's a great appliance.
Yeah.
I still have a lot of ICE cars, as we discussed in our last podcast, because I'm a car guy. I've never been a fan of hybrids, but I don't want to discount hybrids because I think right now there is a lot of advantages of hybrids, particularly modern plug-in hybrids that really have some usable range.
Okay.
Because they're kind of a transition for people that maybe aren't ready to fully embrace EVs. They reduce range anxiety.
Yeah.
What's the term? A gateway drug. They are a gateway drug.
Okay. Yeah, it's your entry point.
To the point about, I wish politics was not even in the conversation.
Yeah.
It kind of annoys me, to be perfectly honest. But to the point about emissions and sustainability. So if you look at studies, BEVs do require more emissions to manufacture than,
Okay.
than an equivalent ICE car
Okay.
because of the mining of the minerals and
Yeah.
the stuff that goes into them.
Yeah.
But over the life, they are lower.
Right.
And the advantage of a BEV over an ICE is in charging, you have an opportunity to use renewable resources to charge them. Be it
Right.
solar or wind.
What? Yeah. Yeah.
You can't do that with an ICE.
No.
So that's kind of, I guess, where I'm at on electric vehicles. Plus, like, think about that's a very nice TV you've got on your wall.
You guys can't see it, but there's a very large TV in
There's a
front of
very
us.
large,
very big.
flat panel TV on the wall.
Yeah.
20 years ago, that didn't exist. And I don't know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they were just starting to come out, and they were
Really
You had
expensive.
to,
several
like,
thousand
They're
dollars.
$10,000 for an LCD,
TV with
like
the real big back on
Exactly.
it, and to go the whole living room.
42-inch Pioneer plasma.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
I was trying to get my dad to buy one so bad. I was like, Dad,
Right.
gotta get a 42-inch plasma. He's just like, why do I want to pay $6,000 for a TV?
Right.
Exactly.
So for statistics' sake, my parents bought like a Samsung TV when flat screens first came out at 32-inch. It was $2,000.
Exactly.
Jesus.
Now,
The TV in front of us is a 75-inch TV. I paid $700. for it.
$700.
So
Do you think that's where we're going with EVs?
I think that's where we're going with
Yeah.
EV. You're seeing it now, slowly but
Yeah.
surely.
Yeah.
Right?
it takes time.
It takes time.
It takes time. The government incentives are definitely helping. And even just to touch on that point, really funny thing a lot of people don't know, that $7,500 tax credit only works for, I want to say, the first 100,000 units of that vehicle sold. So this is also why you see, I don't know if that's like the official like number, but it only
Okay.
works for a certain amount of vehicles. And then they have to have a new model in order to qualify for that credit.
And they also have to be assembled in the U.S. if I'm
Yes.
not-
the,
So that's the new-
battery pack has to be
That is
assembled
the
in the
new
US.
rule.
I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
It's not the battery pack. It is actually
Final assembly?
it is a percentage of components of the vehicle I
Are
believe,
made in the US.
are made in the
US.
US, and it has to be over a certain percentage in order to now
And
qualify
that's a
for that.
change from the original incentive.
Yes, because the original incentive I believe was just everything.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
we bought the Ioniq 5 in 2022, we got the $7,500 incentive.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you can now. One, because they've sold a bunch of them.
So
and
what-
they're not built here.
Right. So what?
Oh, they're not? The Ioniq 5s aren't built here?
No.
Are they built in Korea or are they built in Mexico?
They're built in Korea to the best of my... I don't know. I don't think they build them in Mexico. I could be wrong on that.
What the automakers do at the dealer level is they front that $7,500 tax credit as like just a bonus for buying into an electric vehicle, whether that car qualifies for it or not.
Do they in all cases?
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's not every
It's a-
single.
it's
It's
a
not in
tax
every single
credit.
case. It's
Fun
not in every
fact.
single case. It is a tax credit,
It's
but
not
what they'll
cash back.
right, but the dealer will create a cashback deal to kind of just keep people kind of sucked in into thinking that I'm getting this.
I'm getting
tax
an
credit.
offer.
Yeah. So they'll
It's
kind
like
of
a mail-in rebate.
yeah. So they kind of like just kind of took some
You
dealers.
remember that? Like that was the whole rage back in the day, in
Oh,
like
yeah.
the
Oh,
2000
yeah.
mail-in rebate.
I had a cousin.
because they were banking on people not fucking mailing
Oh
you
yeah,
in.
I had a
'cause who
cousin.
wants to
She
go to
did it all the
post
time.
office?
No.
Right.
My wife would do it.
It was. I mean, hey, like a couple $100
good, though.
back. It was totally.
you had
worth
to
it.
work.
You had
They
to
made you work
though.
for it.
They're
Yeah.
like, you're gonna work for this money. But yeah, so we can transition into like the electric car market. So the statistic that I was able to pull up is that from
Break new records.
right. Yeah, so from 2020 to 2023, what the chart kind of has is they increased around 4% sales, EV sales increasing from around 4% from 2019 to 2020, and then between 2020 to 2023 they increased up to 18%.
That's big.
Yes, a lot. It's very large.
Can we
increase. What's up?
mention the source here?
Yes, the source is IEA. It's the internal. It's not internal. It's the international. It's like electric agency or something. International Energy Agency.
.org.
.org.
Not
So,
for profit.
not for
Not for
profit.
Can we
profit.
trust them?
We're gonna say we're gonna trust
think
them for
so.
now. Based on that, and then Google AI option, it also had a really similar statistic of like 20%.
From 4%.
Right.
Those are
market's
big
growing.
numbers.
Yeah.
But well, you know what that means? we got to get our asses in gear on charging networks to keep
Right.
To
keep
keep,
up with the
to
pace.
keep pace.
we got a couple
Because
of-
if it's growing like that, right, year
Yeah.
on year, like at
Yeah.
that rate,
It used to be you'd pull up at an EA station,
Empty.
Electrify America,
Yeah,
and they're
empty.
empty, right?
America.
Now,
A
a lot of times
Volkswagen
you have to wait in
product.
lines.
dude, I'm gonna dunk on Electrify
Please.
America. Oh my God, what the f?
They are trying their hardest.
To what?
Trash,
They're giving it their best effort.
Oh, come on.
trash, absolutely.
Okay.
And they're publicly traded, aren't they? Are they publicly traded or they're private?
They are a result of Dieselgate.
Yes.
So
and
they're
that's
okay.
Why they are a Volkswagen product.
What's the difference between Electrify America and EV Go? Are they the same?
They're different companies.
Oh, okay.
Just like PowerFlex
So who we
is
got?
another
All right,
company.
Who do we have?
Charge
we
Point.
have we got the Tesla charging network.
Yes.
We have ChargePoint.
Yes.
We have Electrify America.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We have EV Go.
Yes.
Are there any other kind of like
PowerFlex.
PowerFlex? Mm-hmm. And then
probably
any
others.
other kind of like
There are probably
That's in the
Already.
U.S.
That's in the
Right.
United
That's in the
States.
US.
I think Rivian also has their own.
Yeah,
They
I
do?
don't know how they do. They've got like an adventure charging network.
So
Yes.
it's like at Yosemite they have like a Rivian
Close
charging
to
area
Yosemite,
or
yes, I believe that is true.
like near the national parks or
Right.
whatever.
I don't know how big it is though.
Tesla's still the largest though, right?
Yes, but I want to say I heard something that Tesla opened up their charging to everyone now.
So, yes, but the OEMs had to sign an agreement with Tesla.
Okay.
And not everybody has access to Tesla yet, right? So
Okay.
only so far, I think Ford and Rivian have been granted access
Is
to
it
the
just
supercharger
is it
network.
just because of the plug or is there some proprietary
No, it's probably
technology,
just a bunch of legality.
money,
It's
backdoor money?
it's Tesla.
Just Tesla being
Oh,
Tesla.
so it's pride. It's
well,
pride.
no. I mean, Tesla's. I think they've got. I don't work for Tesla, so this
Okay.
is all
Neither do I.
speculation, right? But Tesla can't just open up their supercharger network to everybody all at once. I mean,
No, they
they've got to
can't.
kind of protect their own customers.
Their own customers.
and it's. I would think needs to be phased with the expansion of their network to support other OEMs.
Also, let's get technical because this is a very technical kind of conversation. The standards of charging for each
Okay.
of those vehicles.
Okay.
Yes.
It is a huge liability every time an electric car catches on fire.
Sure.
And Tesla cannot be responsible for that because of misuse of their own chargers.
I see.
So then
Okay.
that is a huge bill just for anybody because you think about
the liability.
let's talk about how back in the day you couldn't just plug any charger into any cell phone
Yeah.
for risk of blowing up the battery. This is the exact same case that we're going through now. Back when Samsung and everybody had their own proprietary chargers, their own type of cables, because they knew exactly what kind of juice to feed their cell
Right.
phone.
Huge
Right.
functional safety consideration.
Right. And especially, me and Jeremy are a little bit closer to this topic than a lot of other people, but onboard chargers and AC to DC charging, DC to DC charging, if not handled correctly, it's very volatile. Like
Sure, yeah.
for the infrastructure, the cars, the batteries, there's a lot of fail safes these days,
Yeah.
but you just want to make sure you're doing everything right.
Is there a federal standard now, or is it just still kind of the Wild West?
I don't know that there's a federal.
Is there like
I
a
mean, there's
like a
NHTSA standards for-
self-regulated industry standard?
Well, yeah.
As
so,
far as-
so NACS, which is the
Charging
Tesla,
yeah.
North American Charging Standard, which Tesla self-named, now has an SAE spec J3400.
Oh,
Okay.
it's SAE
So
spec.
it is adopting it into, I guess, a standard,
Right.
Okay.
mainstream. J1772 is the non-NACS U.S. spec for AC charging. CCS1, I'm dumping out a bunch of
What does
Numbers
that
and
mean in
letters.
English?
You can break it down a little bit for
Yeah,
us.
sorry.
What does
Geeking
that
out
mean?
on it.
It's okay.
What does
What does the J the 17?
J1772 is just a specification number produced by SAE
Oh, okay.
for an AC electric vehicle charger.
So that's the
not
current that's
Tesla.
going through that thing.
It's
is a
the
certain-
design of
It's the design
whole
of the
charging
charger.
gun,
Oh,
the
okay.
charge port,
Yeah.
the specifications for
Okay.
current
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
that sort of thing. The unique thing about NACS, the Tesla J3400, is that both AC charging and DC charging go through the same pins,
Oh, that's cool.
which is it's really cool
right, I
because the
didn't know-
gun
yeah.
is much simpler than a CCS1 gun like you'd find at EA.
Right.
But it's
and-
a challenge.
Right.
Why is that?
Because if you, well, just to touch on what Jeremy, when he talks about the pins, I'll put up some diagrams so people, everybody understands. If you look at a Volkswagen vehicle or Ford or any of these types of vehicles with the kind of standard charging point that we become used to, there's an AC door normally, and then there's a DC door, and there's 2 extra pins at the bottom.
Yeah.
Whereas
right.
the connector that Jeremy's talking
It's
about,
all there.
yes,
It's
there's
that
no need.
that 3-prong thing, right?
Yeah, basically 2
little
AC or DC pins, protective earth or ground.
Right.
ground.
And then there's 2 more for control pilot and proximity pilot, which basically is the communications.
Okay.
So, when like your car is plugged in, it's like, I don't know, I use PowerFlex quite often. When you're plugging into a PowerFlex charger, it's like it's thinking, it's doing all these tests, and it's just like, oh, I'm good. And then I can like start sending out the power.
Is this for test vehicles, or do you have an EV that we don't know about?
For
Or your Volvo? Or you can't say?
We're going to say these are for vehicles that I've used in the past.
Okay. That you borrowed from your friends.
But I borrowed from my
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll leave it at that.
Yes. But in that discussion, yes, it can be a little difficult sharing. Sharing is caring, but sharing isn't always easy.
So the Tesla is opening the network to OEMs in the order in which OEMs signed the agreement.
Okay.
So Ford and Rivian were first.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
And a bunch of others have signed it. GM, Hyundai, Kia, I think.
Okay.
Lucid.
What's it? I guess we're talking about North America a lot, but what about Europe? Is Europe on a set standard and
Yes.
they don't have to worry about any of this stuff?
Europe is mandated CCS2. So all Teslas in Europe have a different charger. They
I
do
did
have
not know
NACS.
that. Fun fact.
They use CCS2. And in China, it's GBT. Which Is another,
GBT. What's
Chinese-
GBT?
I don't know what it stands for, but it's a Chinese standard.
And
Yes.
is there a difference between power flowing through those chargers versus each other, like 220 volt versus
Yes.
know
Yes.
versus 240 or
Because we
whatever?
could just think
For
about
AC, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we just think about normal household outlets.
Yeah.
In the United States.
It's your 120 volt, right? Is your AC outlet
Here in the United States.
in,
yes.
in the US? Yeah.
Everywhere else in the world. Oh, go ahead,
Well, I
Jeremy.
was just going to say, so you can charge in the U.S. single phase 120 volt or 240 volt level 2.
Right, but most people.
and that's like the 240 is the dishwasher.
It's like
right?
Or the dryer.
The dryer.
your
yes.
dryer or stove.
or stove. Which a lot of people may not have that type of outlet in a garage setting. Or let's just talk about how everybody's in a housing crisis and they don't have a home to plug this thing into because everybody lives in apartments. Which is also a big factor for having an EV and having the availability to just charge. Because I think for me, one of the comforts of having an EV sometimes is, I just get home, I have a house. We just get home and you could just plug it in. Like I don't
Yeah.
think about getting gas in the morning. If I remember to plug it in sometime before I go to bed, I should have enough juice to make it to work. And fortunately, I work at a place where there are chargers.
Yeah.
I do
Or
too.
there are places where there are chargers nearby, which I feel like a lot of newer office buildings are implementing.
Particularly in this area. You're
Yes,
right.
in the Bay Area. Which
in the Bay Area.
we have that unique ability here in the Bay Area because the Bay Area is a early adopter of this, all the way down to California legislation trying to pass the bill of no new ICE gas vehicles being sold here. I want to say it's 2035. Was the year?
2035 is like the target, right?
Yes. Will they hit that target? I have no
I don't
idea.
know. Yeah.
Politics
and
enters the conversation.
read the right and make sure you read the fine print. It's new vehicles.
You always use California, like everybody. The federal government uses California as like
the metric.
the metric, right? Like
That's true.
EPA, California.
Yep.
EPA.
Yeah.
The
It's just
mileage
yeah.
and everything like that is all California standard.
It's the volume of people, the actual size of the state is very large.
It's huge.
It works. It works really well for a lot of that, especially just to go off topic. Everybody uses California for just its steady weather. There is a lot of prototype testing that happens out here for just like steady weather. And then also because it has nice driving roads, they're like, oh, we're going to go do a vehicle launch or like a little test out in California. I can
And
attest.
Desert Land too.
There's Desert Land.
You can't do that in Chicago.
You cannot.
One, you're gonna get robbed,
Or
two,
shot.
shot, and then three, you're gonna get your car's gonna drive into the world's largest pothole.
Oh yeah,
and
same
just
thing.
destroy
Same thing with
everything.
Well, that's
Detroit.
good for chassis testing.
Right,
It's good for chassis
which they
testing.
did use that for. When
Yeah,
I used to test drive in
I
Detroit.
have seen that, but the car doesn't last that long. They gotta ship it out.
Yes.
We got some pretty impressive potholes over on the 880.
Oh yeah, they're starting to form.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Actually,
normally,
they're repaving it right now.
well, yeah,
Really?
because we're in the summer, but during the rainy season, I don't know what they put in the asphalt out here.
just gets
but
washed out.
Literally, just
Water-based.
just
Yeah,
gone.
it's water-based.
asphalt.
Right. It's just like, oh, it's gone now. Freeway
It's,
was just
it's
here.
biodegradable.
Yeah. Hey, California has to be, all
Yeah.
green. So even the streets are
Eventually,
green.
the gravels go back to the earth.
But yeah, so yeah, I EVs are a
So
thing.
When do we get to talk about different EVs, our favorite EVs? What,
We
what's out?
can start about
favorite
that
EVs.
now. So, James, what's your favorite?
My
What's your
favorite EV right now
that's out now, and maybe one that's coming?
because I haven't driven the only EVs I've really driven are like Teslas. I've driven a Lucid.
I've not driven one of those yet.
I have sat in a Rolls Royce. What the heck is it called?
It is called
The
Rolls Royce.
not the Wraith. It's
Spectre.
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 Oh,
Let me hit the Google, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
OMG. That car is. I haven't driven in it yet, but I've watched a lot of videos. I've sat in one.
Yeah.
Long story short, I have a friend of mine in Chicago that owns a Bentley dealership that just happens to be
nice.
a Rolls Royce dealership too. And it's just and there's like an old saying by Rolls Royce, the original founder and builder of Rolls Royce, that he wanted to build an electric Rolls Royce, but at the time,
Go ahead.
yeah, he wanted to build an electric Rolls Royce, but just at the time, like the technology just wasn't there, so he had to build an ICE version
Right.
of it. But I'm saying, like, if I had the money, and it has a range of like 300, maybe 270.
The Rolls Royce Spectre is Rolls Royce BMW Mini. It is on the same platform as the BMW i7.
Are you serious?
That makes sense. I'm looking at the pictures on your laptop now, Miles.
Yes.
It's stunning.
Yeah,
better
so
better looking
beautiful.
than the i7.
Yeah,
If we can
yeah
go there.
Dude, the i7 looks like ass.
we're not going to talk about BMW i products because as me and James as BMW owners,
Because there's no Hofmeister kink.
there's
I
a lot.
like the
there's a-
Hofmeister kink.
Forget
I like.
the Hofmeister kink. There's a lot of things missing in
They're missing kinks.
BMW is missing BMW right now. Let's just talk about that.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that later.
Anyways, so Spectre, I would say Spectre, the Lucid Air Sapphire, not the extreme version, but the launch edition,
Okay.
the Air
the Dream Edition?
Dream. I think I sat or drove in a gold one.
Yeah, that was the Dream
I just
Edition.
love how, because of the platform, right? There's no engine in the front, batteries on the bottom. It just felt so airy and like natural, like all the window paneling and the trim and everything. I know some of them have some issues and they kind of fall apart, but
That's every new car company.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
they don't fall apart
Yeah.
any more than
Any other car
any
company.
other, yeah. Just I
Any
feel
other
like
brand new, like literally, like Lucid is.
we already had
birth.
the onboard charger replaced in the Ioniq 5, just for the record. So
Oh, really?
It's not perfect.
oh my
either.
god. I would say if somebody put a gun in my head right now and said, James, you got to buy an electric vehicle, you better get one now. It'd probably be the Rivian R1T.
I love those.
See,
Sick. I was really skeptical. I'm like, big pickup, big,
Yeah.
how many pounds does it weigh? Like 7,000
7,000 pounds.
7,000 pounds.
Too many, but
Like
interiors
Not as
are
much as a
awesome
Hummer.
on those.
like how's this gonna drive? Like this thing's gonna drive like crap. And we have some mutual friends that own or worked for Rivian and have them. So they got the very first ones, and I drove one. I'm like, this thing drives like a BMW, like air suspension, 1,000+ horsepower. I think it's 4-motor. It just like it doesn't drive like anything else in the world.
Right.
It's
So
insane.
as a-
it's so funny and it's so
as-
practical.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
really well built, relatively speaking. It's got problems and
But
things
once
like
again,
that.
a brand new company.
Yeah. But it is extraordinary. It is fantastically engineered.
Some notes about the Rivian because I've moved one like around a parking lot way back when, and I actually got to ride in one for the first time like a couple weeks ago. My buddy picked me up from the airport. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny. So Rivian is all about nature.
Yeah.
And when I was moving the one in the parking lot, I like locked it and I was like, where are these birds? Why do I keep hearing birds?
Oh,
And
right,
I was
because
like,
it chirps.
And I didn't know that. And I was like,
I didn't know that
chirps.
either.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
chirps
yeah.
when you lock
When
it.
you lock
Jeremy,
it, yeah.
it sounds like just normal birds. And I'm like, where are these birds? I was so angry trying to find
Covering
these
your
birds.
head to make sure you don't get shot
Right.
upon.
I like the R1T. I like the R1
S.
S a little bit more. Just for like
I
styling
heard-
sake.
You're kind of an
heard-
SUV guy.
I heard
right?
the R1S
Yeah.
got dunked on. Like Consumer Reports was just like, this car's terrible.
Oh, really? I mean, it's the exact
Something
same
about
car.
the suspension was like it made it too like wobbly, and it gave people like motion sickness
Maybe
driving in
because
it.
there's a little bit more weight over the rear axle, but it's the
I don't know. I just heard not great things about
I've
it.
driven an R1T, and it had the same acceleration as like a Lucid Air or Model
Yeah.
S or something,
Mm-hmm.
but on a truck suspension.
It
and at first it
yeah.
was kind of
It's kind of
unnerving.
weird
right.
because you're driving a
I still
supercar
like
on
it.
a pogo stick.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's kind of scary. It's just like, okay, does this thing stop now? And it does.
And it does.
I also want to talk about just me being a Japanese, car hot boy tuner scene. The wheel fitment on the Rivians is just beautiful.
You like that?
Yeah.
It's flush. Like,
Yeah.
guys, go look at your local
Fits
Rivian.
good.
Go
They did
look
a
at
good
your
job.
like. It's literally like body wheel are perfectly in line. There's no like crazy wheel gap like where you need spacers. And also when the car is even just driving down the road in its lowest setting,
Yes.
or
It looks
or
sharp.
when it's parked. It's
Yeah, it has a
practically
parking
like
mode, right? Yeah, yeah.
as an SUV, it's almost tucking tire. Like there's probably like just a finger or two width between the top of the fender and where the tire is. It
Funny
just-
thing, did you hear in the lowest setting, which I think is like the economy setting when you're driving, it puts so much camber on the tires. People are tearing up their tires.
Yeah, so
prematurely.
that is
Yeah.
a problem.
Oh.
A problem.
That is
Yeah,
so funny.
problem.
well, because when you get really low, let's do some dynamics really quick.
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
The tire looks like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're using this much of the contact patch of the tire. Ask me how I know. I've gone through multiple sets on my BMW.
Exacerbates the wear on that part of the
Yes,
tire.
it's
Absolutely.
perfect in
Absolutely.
F1 in racing because when you're turning, yes, the tire will flatten back out and you're getting all the grip, but on the street, it is not.
But it
is
looks
not-
good.
It looks good, but it ain't worth it. That's that beauty is pain.
Yeah, yeah.
But yes, I love the wheel fitment on the Rivians.
Yeah, I'd
Miles,
say-
what would you?
Oh,
what's your favorite?
I've been waiting. There's two.
Go for it.
I mean, well, there's a lot out there, but the two I'm most excited for is the new Dodge Charger
Yeah.
and the I'm actually really excited for the Escalade IQ.
Charger or Challenger?
It is called the Dodge Charger.
It's called the Dodge Charger?
Yes, so they went back to the original naming scheme.
You think it'll be well received by the Dodge crowd?
No,
I
they're
don't think
already
so.
Jeremy. I was on Facebook and they're already
They're
angry.
dunking on
They're
it.
like, "What is this? What is this
abomination?
electric thing in my V8 power?" Like literally, they're so angry, and I'm like, "But." So I'll put up a picture so that everybody can see.
It's a good looking car.
It is the most accurate modern representation of what the original Charger used to look like. Well, not original. Well, let's talk about
Long hood.
yeah, that long hood, long trunk. The only big difference is that the new one that's coming is a hatchback, which I think is perfect because
Yeah.
you get more space.
Yeah.
But as far as like body profile, length, weight, what it means to be a muscle car, that car, it checks a lot of those boxes besides the fact that it's electric.
Yeah.
But it makes, if you get, I think right now the top of the line version is going to make like 700 something horsepower.
Aren't they going to also offer it in a nice version?
Yes. So because they understand that their customers may not adopt it, it is going to have the
Options.
The options.
But what kind of power? What kind of powertrain is it going to?
It is going to have the Hurricane twin turbo V6 motor.
No.
No, not V6.
No.
Inline six.
No V8 though, right?
No V8
No.
that we've heard of yet.
No,
Okay, but
no.
But the inline
No.
six in that car.
I think it's going to be great.
So first of all, it's already out. If you guys want to
it is?
experience this motor, go drive a Grand Wagoneer. It has the motor.
The
in it.
inline six.
The twin turbo inline six. I drive an inline six. I think the inline six is the best variation of a 6-cylinder if you want the right sound, smoothness.
I mean, just the design of an inline six
Inline
is
sixes are
naturally
wonderful.
will
Yeah, they
harmonic
They really are.
resonance,
Yeah.
right?
They
Like,
just
it
work really well.
Works.
And I was really excited when this engine came out because I'm like, new Supra, new 2JG. Anytime we get a new twin turbo inline six, I'm just like, yes, new 2J, new RB.
Not
new
all
RB.
inline sixes are made the same, buddy.
No, as we've experienced.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm really, really excited about that car. There's the 2-door and the 4-door version. Unfortunately,
There is a 4-door version.
yes, but unfortunately, they also weigh 7,000 pounds.
Jesus.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think the statistic has come out yet, but it's probably going to be it's going to be a heavy car, probably just as heavy as an SUV, which is absolutely crazy. Now, the Escalade IQ, on the other hand, is already just big and heavy, and nobody expects it to be light, so it's great.
Can I interrupt you for a second
up? What's
to
up?
comment about the weight of all these like fancy electric vehicles?
Yeah.
If you want
More
to
toll
make if you
roads.
want to make money, toll roads. If you want to make money off this stuff, like they're not going to get oil changes, all these like shops are going to suffer. Buy a tire shop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Because
absolutely.
Some of these
Blow
EVs are
out.
just blowing through tires. Like, yeah, sure, you only need to service your Tesla every 30,000 miles.
Right.
But the tires just rolls through them.
So the problem
Vehicle
is...
registrations.
Right. Also, yeah, that too.
It costs twice as much to register the Ioniq 5 as it does my 991.
Wait, what? Really? Why
Dead
is that?
serious.
What the
The
F?
government wants us to have them,
heavier,
but then
I
they
guess.
don't want us to have them.
They got
I
to
was-
make up for the gas tax.
Right, because I was just about to say that I was on TikTok and I was just scrolling and they were talking about how California isn't getting enough money from like the gas tax anymore, so now they got to think
Dunking
of a way.
on EVs.
Now they gotta
Because
figure
all
out
those
how-
people at EVs are
Right,
rich
so now they gotta
effers
figure
or
out how they're
whatever.
gonna tax EV owners, and I'm just
Dude.
like, we can't win. They're gonna tax us till we have pennies left. But
Because
yes,
the
weight,
tires, the weight,
weight,
and then
also just
the
the-
stopping, right?
not even the stopping.
Or
It's
the-
literally the sheer amount of power. All of these cars are 500, 600 horsepower plus.
It is an unnecessary amount of power for a grocery go-getter.
Oh yeah, because
But that's fantastic. See, that's the future for the car guy in an EV.
oh
Just
yeah, it's
ripping
just-
four-wheel
unnecessary
drive
power.
burnouts in the Safeway.
yeah, like the moms, like I'm pretty sure, like every time I see a mom and she's in her like P100D, and I'm just like, dude, you got me, you got me, girl, because you.
But that's another thing we could talk more about, like dynamics of like fast EVs. People should, like, especially like a Tesla Model 100P or a Lucid, they should take like a special driver's course for that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I
Because
could
people
pull up
Yeah.
are
the
they're
videos.
gonna kill somebody, they're gonna kill themselves, or they're gonna hurt somebody because that car is so freaking fast. And people don't understand. Their brain can't they can't keep up of how fast the car is.
I mean, Model
and
Ys
they can't brake.
Or the new Corolla out here on the
Oh
101.
yeah,
Oh,
but you
dude,
know
it's
what?
wild.
Thank God.
It's-
So Tesla has done a thing.
Now we're totally off tangent. I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah.
sorry.
No, it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. Let me say this really quick. So Tesla has done a thing. I'm pretty sure. Internet, fix me if I get this wrong. Teslas have their own insurance policy, and if you drive fast, your insurance goes up.
You
That's
can
why
get
everybody
Tesla
drives
insurance.
like 55.
And you don't have to have a Tesla to get Tesla insurance.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've got a friend that's got a Lucid
With Tesla
insured by
insurance.
Tesla.
See, but this keeps all of the Tesla drivers driving slow. But also, back to your point of people not knowing how to drive, I could show 3 billion videos of people driving through doors, houses, everything, because they hit the gas in their electric vehicle and they did not realize how quick it was going to get up to speed. But thank God that all the electric vehicles are also crazy, like safety, LiDAR, radar, stop, self-drive, all of that to kind of mitigate the non-driver driver.
Didn't Tesla get rid of radar and LiDAR and just use visual?
The
They
the
do.
video
So they
cameras
use
or whatever.
visual
Is it visual
communication.
cameras or visible cameras? I don't know what the right term is.
I'm
Cameras.
They just use cameras. Teslas
Regular
have cameras
cameras.
all over the car to kind of to compute what.
Yeah, they got like 3 or 4 of them, right?
Whereas there's some automakers that are throwing so many sensors at vehicles that that vehicle might just explode one day. But that's okay too. I pray for those who get into an accident in a new German vehicle because your repair bill
Be like $90 million.
total the car. If you hit a squirrel,
Yeah, it's a
could
problem.
put- you
That's
could
a real
potentially
It's a big, especially in the insurance industry.
yes,
Yeah.
I can see the adjuster right now. Like, you hit what? A rock? It's over. Like,
Yeah.
And then they send them out, and the adjuster's like looking at the car, and it's like just one corner's messed up, right? And they're like, Why is this $50,000?
You scratched your Giga casting. We have to replace the.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
my God.
We have to rebuild the molds.
My God.
We have to restart the mines.
For this one.
It's a problem, especially for the Rivian people. Like, they are having problems with their insurance. Like, they'll get in a little fender bender. Like, I think there's like a famous internet story right now where a Rivian owner gets like rear-ended by some random car. And it looks like nothing. It's like literally the bumper's cracked or whatever. But the adjuster's like, no, this car needs like $80,000 worth of work.
Because what people also don't know is you have to calibrate.
Yeah, all these
All the
parking sensors and the molds and all this stuff.
my God.
And maybe the frame was like slightly ajar or whatever.
Let me
But the
tell
problem
you
is
about $1 million alignment.
But that person's insurance wasn't going to pay out either.
Oh yeah, no. Everybody's
him.
like,
They dropped his ass.
they're like, see, this is why everybody probably.
Can we, as car guys, take advantage of this when these cars get totaled out? Can we buy them?
Oh,
with
yeah, I
salvage
mean,
titles.
you
And
know
like
how many,
repair
like,
them ourselves. And
there's
have
like a
these
billion
badass electric cars for next to
Honestly,
nothing?
I'm gonna start doing it with the electric cars because everybody's already, there's a billion Tavarish and like
Yeah.
people out there who do this on Copart all day long. But I'll be the one. I will be the one with the EV salvage title, in the gutted interior.
I'm scared of electricity.
Okay. Jeremy, share
All right.
your favorite cars, and then we'll talk about getting electrocuted to death.
Okay.
I think unattainable electric car, dream car.
I already know what you're gonna say.
What am I going to say?
The Rimac
Yeah.
Navara.
I'm glad you said it because I would butcher the name.
So his name is Mate
Mate.
Rimac, not Rimac.
yeah, not Rimac.
It's not
Croatian.
Rimac.
There's no C in. There is.
People have been mispronouncing that for like the last 20 years now.
Myself included. That's
It's
why.
okay,
That's
it's
why I
okay.
let Miles say it.
It's okay. It's okay.
That probably unattainable. Second unattainable would be Lucid Air Sapphire.
Okay.
So Lucid Air Sapphire sub 2-second 0 to 60, which is
Fastest.
That's fast.
Yeah.
But like, who cares? It handles well.
Right.
Yeah.
You can go 200 miles an hour, or however fast it'll go, with 4 or 5 of your best friends. with
Real
the
sized adults. Let me tell you
butt
that.
cooler going and the seat massager going, and it looks badass.
How much is it?
125.
250.
Oh
No, it's
The
250.
Sapphire's 250. 1,234 horsepower, 1,430 pound-feet of torque.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's reasonably priced.
It's a 3-motor or 4-motor?
That is a 3-motor.
Yeah.
And the advantage, so Lucid's like really good at small, compact, lightweight motors.
Yeah.
Which has allowed them to put smaller batteries in their vehicles. So there's no 7,000-pound Lucid.
Yeah, it's like,
Thank God.
I think that car only weighs maybe like 5,000.
Which is a
Yeah,
normal
gross.
amount of weight
So
for a
something like that.
full size luxury limo sedan thing.
So I think those would be my two favorite. I agree with you though. For a pickup truck or just a daily,
Yeah,
R1T.
the R1T, man, it's
R1T.
just-
Yeah.
those are awesome.
It's big. I just wish I had like enough room in my garage and had a home
yeah, you'd
charger.
like-
Yeah.
I would totally rock one. I'd be that person, just like going 1,000,000 miles an hour down a 30-mile-per-hour thing. That'd be me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of, and so I want to hear your opinion of like the Hummer and the Escalade that have like 200 kilowatt-hour battery packs that weigh. I mean, where's the sustainability or
So,
the
because we're
environmental-
big fat Americans, let me tell you,
Yeah,
I don't
so I
give a
wanna hear
damn.
about
But that's literally how they feel. They're just like the Hummer and the Escalade, America. Like literally, it's like
But how do you make a car even weigh that much? How's that? Are they purposely putting tungsten?
you know how.
Lithium
in the
is a
car?
Let me
dense
tell you something.
material.
When every
is?
surface is leather, when that car
Is it?
the Hummer.
In the Cadillac?
Yeah,
Sure.
and not the
Sound deadening.
Wait,
Double
it's
pane
not even that.
glass.
Sorry, if I can interrupt. All
Go
right.
ahead.
So the Sapphire has, I think, like 118 kilowatt-hour battery pack.
Yeah.
Hummer
kind of
has a
like
200
has 250 kilowatt hour battery. pack.
250.
Yes, I think it's 250. Let me
Yeah.
hit the Google, but
And
I'm pretty
it
sure
needs
it's
it so it
250.
has any usable range.
Okay, the range
'Cause
of
it's just so
range,
massive.
the estimated range on the Escalade IQ
To
is
satisfy our
it's
American
supposed to be
Our thirst for energy.
thirst for
yeah, but it's supposed to be like a 400 mile range car.
Oh, okay.
Now that I've trashed the Hummer and the IQ, tell us why we should like them, because they are nice.
450
They
mile
look
range.
really cool.
So
The Cadillac is nice looking.
the
I'll give that.
Cadillac, I believe, is just.
Holy-
Pillar to pillar, 55-inch
Yes.
total diagonal.
I'll make sure to put pictures so everyone can see.
Massive.
But yeah, it has a huge pano display across the entire front of the vehicle.
It's a good looking vehicle.
It's
I can't fault it for that.
Gorgeous car. It's pretty much just back
Oh
to
my
the.
God! Look at this.
It's pretty much that.
You can
that-
watch Dune 2 on that
Yes,
thing.
it's going back to the epitome of luxury, and that's why I feel like the Rolls-Royce Spectre was like, I don't know why Rolls-Royce, Bentley, all of these automakers didn't move to being electric vehicles sooner, because the people who are buying those cars, yes, back in the day, they may have been buying it for the V12 or a 12-cylinder motor, but they bought it because it was smooth, it was quiet,
Right, it was quiet, yeah.
and it was fast.
Yeah.
But an electric motor can do all the same things without all the emissions that a 12-cylinder can put out. Jeremy, you have a thought?
How many people can the IQ hold? It looks
I
like-
don't think it's a.
Four?
I think it's a
not a
7-seater.
3-row.
I think it is a 3-row. I would be surprised if they didn't do.
Looked like a center console in the back seat.
Yeah,
Okay,
it might
like
not be. It
captain's
might
chair.
be like the executive kind of
But then
okay.
three.
Oh,
center,
executive second row. Okay.
Yeah.
right, which is of course an option in a lot of vehicles, but but it's interesting to kind of see.
E-trunk. Is that the frunk?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because if you look at the Hummer does it. If you look at the Chevy version of like the Hummer and the Escalade, they have like this huge like front opening thing, which is really
You
nice.
know what I'm going to say about this?
What are you gonna say?
It's going to be a really nice car to be picked up in an Uber.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's
This
true.
is
It's
the
going to be
airport
the Uber Premium.
special. Yeah, my Uber Black is outside.
There's no way I'd ever freaking buy
But
this
also,
thing. No way.
okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
just to touch, well, I mean, it would be a really nice lease. I would never purchase one of these, but a nice, if you could lease
all
one
of
of
them.
these.
Oh, that's
all
a-
the EVs. Lease all of them.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't ever buy them. Don't ever finance them.
No, it's just wonderful lease deals. The
Yeah.
best lease you could ever have.
Yeah.
Well, and another reason to lease them is the technology does not
Changes.
stop.
Yeah.
So
Right.
shiny
Yeah.
objects.
You thought your S-Class from 2000 was bad? Just you wait to 2050.
Appreciation is just going to destroy you.
1993 S-Class is where it's at. That thing's awesome.
You thought they
Mm-hmm.
were packing technology into stuff back then. Just y'all wait. Just but let's divert for a little bit. I want to talk about some sports cars. In the last
Okay.
Ooh.
couple minutes that we have.
Do we talk about the 911 or do you have a list of things?
We can talk about all of them. I can skip a bunch. I've got the GM EV1 here.
I only have one.
sports
I
car.
only have one sports car I really want to talk about that I had no idea was a plug-in hybrid until recently. It is the AMG GT. The new AMG GT is a plug-in hybrid.
I hate that car.
Have you even seen the new one?
I don't care.
Have you even what?
I don't
what's
care
wrong
anymore.
with
I
it?
think Mercedes has just gone like completely down the hole.
What? Why?
The AMG GT1, like the super sports
No,
car.
not that. The AMG GT.
So it's the SL, the
Yes.
SL thing.
Yes,
I heard it's ass.
the new one.
Yeah.
I don't think they're talking about the new one because I don't even think people are getting them. I think they're just now getting
Oh,
delivered.
they're just getting them.
Yes,
I still hate it.
because it's so. First of all, it's a 911 copy.
Oh,
Yeah. Have you seen the new AMG GT?
I don't know.
So the AMG GT
Maybe.
is the SLS.
Yeah. I think I've seen it. I don't know if I could tell it
Successor.
apart.
okay. So we had originally the AMG GTS, the AMG GT. Then separate from that, you had the SL super light. It's not super light. SL like the SL63, SL63.
But those were two different. Yeah, those were two different cars that did two different.
But then they
things.
got rid of. Now they've gotten rid of the SL, right?
No,
They
there's
still
no-
have the SL.
They just ride on the same platform now.
It's 4-cylinder, isn't it? Isn't it a turbo 4?
No.
SL?
no.
No?
You can get a real 63 SL still.
But you can get a 4-cylinder SL.
I'm pretty sure you can. But Mercedes
Dude.
has also decided that was a bad idea. But
That's awful.
To bring full circle what I was talking about, the AMG GT is the new one is pretty much, and we'll transition into the 911, is a 911 copy in my opinion. But AMG putting their own spin on it. It now has all-wheel drive like a 911.
Oh.
It now has a back seat like a 911.
Oh.
But
Oh, so
if we,
useless.
yes, but if we go back into history, and this is me, just being big brained. If we look back into history, That's what the SL always was. Because I want to say the 911s came out.
Wait, no. The new 911 doesn't have back seats.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
They got rid of them? Well, for
The T hybrid.
right, but for long
No, I
periods
think
of
the
history,
new 992.2 doesn't have rear seats.
At all?
I'm serious, yeah.
we'll fact check it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
let me
Fact
finish
check
this
that.
whole thought.
Not that they were useful.
Well, it's for insurance, so.
So through all of history, we know history repeats itself. The SL is pretty much not the SL. The AMG GT has once become what the SL Gullwing was, and if you look at the early, I want to say Porsche 356 race cars and the SLs from that same time period, they were the exact same car. Not
Well, I mean,
exactly
one was
the
front
same.
engine, one was rear engine.
Right, but styling wise and what the goal was and the ethos of like that type of vehicle, they were very
Yeah.
similar.
Okay.
And they have both come back into
in
each other's
full, like
arms
full circle or whatever.
once again, as well as the electric vehicle. I just want to touch on that Porsche's first vehicle was electric. So we're just coming full circle. Everybody's just like it was always.
What year
good.
did we determine? Was it 1918?
Porsche's
The first electric vehicle,
car?
or are you talking about Porsche?
First electric Porsche.
The first electric Porsche. I have the note.
Which, for those listening, if you go to the Porsche Museum in Zuffenhausen, you can see it. It looks pretty heavy too.
I will put up a picture, guys.
Well, they were using lead acid batteries,
1898.
right?
I don't think this is like the first mass-produced electric
Yeah,
kind
I
of,
don't-
but it was created by
There was only
Ferdinand
one, wasn't
Porsche. Yes. It was the Eiger Lohner C2 Phaeton. I probably butchered the heck out of that, but
Oh, like Phaeton, like the VW Phaeton.
I'll look up what that word
Right.
means eventually. But it means something because they
Yeah.
use it a lot. But Jeremy, what EV sports car are you excited about?
Real quick,
What's up?
an EV hypercar that I'd never heard of until this week, and I probably think maybe nobody's heard of it. So, A Spark Owl.
Oh,
It's not new.
oh,
Came out in
A
20.
Spark Owl.
Yeah, it's Japanese. Came out in 2016. It just set a record. It's I should say it's been updated, and it is being built in Italy now.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And A Spark, which I may be pronouncing wrong, so forgive me, is a Japanese engineering firm that does like everything else besides build cars, but they built this one car. This week, the Owl SP600 hypercar just smashed the
Oh,
258 mile per hour top speed EV record.
Oh, wow.
Set by the Navara.
Oh,
The
wow.
How do you
See,
say?
hearing
Remats?
that- Remats.
Remats.
I think that's correct. And now we're back to the horsepower top speed wars.
This is cool.
And look at
electric
this.
vehicles.
This is really cool.
It's really cool looking. It's
I'll
got a
make sure to-
64 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Oh, wow.
You know what it reminds me of? Remember
and you
when
can buy
Mazda made that concept car, the Ferrari? It was like a 3-rotor concept car, race car. They only made one of them. It
yeah.
was like carbon fiber. That's what it kind of looks like to me.
Anyways, I saw news on this week and read up on it, and can't believe I didn't know about it before.
Yeah,
but
this
it's
is.
pretty
I had
cool.
no idea either. Wow.
So, sports cars, speed, fun. We know this is a big thing, and the EVs are killing it, apparently. Not really. Porsche has come up with a very unique solution to this in the new 911s.
T hybrid.
Yeah, I actually saw two of
Blasphemy.
these vehicles. I actually got to see these two cars.
Blasphemy. It's not. There. It's never. It's not.
I
gonna-
was on my
They're
way-
gonna sell. They're gonna sell.
Uh-huh.
But
20 years down the road, what's the next IMS bearing issue?
A blown up electric turbo. But okay,
And are
okay,
people
okay,
like
okay,
us
okay,
going,
okay,
to,
okay,
ahead,
okay.
going
go
to
ahead,
buy them
Miles.
and love them and say the issues are overblown? And
Okay. So I actually got to
Fix our
see
electric
these two
turbos.
cars putting around the bay. There was two test mules, the all black ones that I'm pretty sure everyone has kind of seen.
Yeah.
In person they look really nice. Sounded decent for
sounded like a Porsche.
Yeah, Porsches
Smelled
don't make
like a
sound.
Porsche,
They
sounded like a
They make
Porsche.
vacuum noises. But what I
Cost
think is
like
really
a Porsche?
nice that
Cost
Porsche
like a
does. Oh yeah, definitely costs like a Porsche. But and everybody's gonna kill us because you keep saying Porsche instead of Porsche. But that's
I'm
okay.
saying Porsche, just for the record.
Porsche. Anyway,
I might have said flat plane camshaft last podcast, but I'm saying Porsche now.
Yeah.
Porsche.
Yeah, it's
we
fine.
we are
Forgive
politically
me.
correct, guys. We know what we're talking about. Anyway, that car I think is the new 930. And I'm going to say
That's a bold
That is a
statement right
big
the
statement,
reason
sir.
I say it's the new 930 is just because 930 Turbo was like first
True.
turbo Porsche,
Okay.
right?
I see that. Yeah. First
Mainstream turbo Porsche.
You're not saying it's the new Widowmaker, are you?
No,
Well,
not
the
even
thing is,
close.
okay,
Porsches are like so hard to
So
like.
the thing is, like, Porsche has always, when they debut something in their mass manufactured cars, it always has originated from motorsport.
Right.
Right. Like the 930 Turbo came out because they were, they were using turbo technology for a long time at Le Mans, like
Right.
developing wastegates and, how do you cool these things, intercoolers, air to air, water to air.
Right.
They also developed a lot of their like hybrid, right? The Metzger engine, the Porsche 911 GT1 was a hybrid, not hybrid, but like air cooled on the top and water cooled on the bottom of the case.
Even mechanical fuel injection.
Mechanical
Used
fuel
in the
injection.
70s on production cars, I think,
So
originated
I think
earlier.
I understand what you're
Right.
saying.
So Porsche as a brand, when it comes to innovating and creating these not new but old
Yeah.
ideas, they were like, what worked for us in the past? How are we gonna make this
Because
hybrid?
they were messing around with hybrids at Le Mans.
What
right?
are we gonna do that our true fans will understand, will love, and will enjoy? We go back to a single turbo flat six, but we reinvent the turbo because Germans like reinventing the wheel. So they give us a fully electric single turbo 911.
So it's cool that electrically it can spool up. So that's one of the advantages.
Which isn't new technology because Mercedes-Benz also has electric superchargers.
Yeah,
This is something
it's not
that
new.
is common, but I think Porsche has done it the best so far.
How about the no wastegate? So regen on the turbo instead of a wastegate.
So
Is that new? I think that's new.
BMWs do this as well. I want to say they have
Electronically?
they have electronic wastegates, but they're internal, so they're recirculating. Recirculating wastegates it's not a new concept, but I like how Porsche is.
I think though, and
Because a lot of wastegates don't vent to atmosphere anymore anyway.
I skimmed the details, so I should probably fact check myself. But I thought the regen from the turbo went to the battery.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I'm going to have to look to...
And then
So
there's like a hybrid
hold on.
system
So
for the drivetrain.
yes.
the battery-
But it's
so-
not a plug-in hybrid.
It is not a plug-in
Unlike the
hybrid, that's
AMG
It's not a
GT, which is
plug-in
a plug-in
hybrid.
hybrid.
And the battery, or like where the electricity juice goes to, is the transmission, right?
Yeah, I think the battery is
It's
on
like
the PDK.
integrated
Yes.
within the PDK. There's no external electric
Simple-
motor, right?
Simple design.
Yeah, very simple, but effective.
I'm just kidding. It's not simple.
I know.
It's overly
I don't
complicated.
know, man.
Effective. Because the Germans love simple. They
Oh, and
love simple stuff.
and by the way,
I think we all love Porsches.
Oh, yeah, of course. I think they're
So,
awesome cars.
We're not knocking on them too hard.
No,
we're
no,
knocking them, but
I am congratulating Porsche for what they've done. I
This
just
is-
want to see it.
it is a feat
in
of engineering.
practice.
this one feature or this option might make everybody more angry than the single turbo electric turbo hybrid thing. Is rear seats are no longer standard equipment on some models.
Oh, you just option
I
it back
kinda-
in. Porsche's been doing that forever.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, like
Because they're useless.
Have you ever spec'd out we've all spec'd out a Porsche. Like the viewers have spec'd
I
out
like
Porsches.
having the seats there.
Yeah, you just check the box and you get them back. Just
Oh,
like everything
okay.
else. Do you want lights? Yes. Do you want do you want wheels on the car? Yes.
What is if you go to the
That is the
Porsche? If you go to
universal-
the Porsche configure right now, what is the cheap without putting any just the Carrera base?
It's $102,000.
It's 102
It's
base.
like 102.
Are you freaking kidding me,
I
man?
saw an ad for the new
Jesus.
2025 Panamera that starts at 102, and I'm confused because I thought they were killing the Panamera.
I thought they were killing the Panamera too.
I wondered,
No.
have they had a
I'm gonna talk to you guys about the Panamera. As
change of
well.
heart.
A base 911 starts from $114,000
Base.
Base.
Well, inflation.
Not inflation,
But
man.
that's
It's
almost
just
becoming unattainable.
Okay.
All right,
As somebody
anyways.
who's worked on Porsches, I'm explaining to you why this car costs $114,000.
because it's amazing. Because of the
no,
best.
it's not because it's amazing.
It's the best car in the world.
No, it's because
so easy to work on.
Jesus Christ. It is.
How do you
because-
change the air filter?
This car costs $114,000 because people started to realize what Porsches could be. They are good sports cars, and technologically speaking, they Okay, I'm running
You're
out
not
of good
winning
excuses.
me.
I'm running out of good
You
excuses.
can buy a Corvette. You can buy a Corvette for like 60 grand base, and it's just as fast.
I'd have to
I really
like
like the C8.
I'd have to.
There,
I
I
do
said
too. I do too. Let me
It's
tell
a
you,
cool car.
It's
a cool car.
Everybody's gonna hate on me, but they came up on the TikTok the other day. Are you buying a GT2 RS 992 when it comes out, or are you buying a Mustang GTD? I'm buying the Mustang fucking GTD. Okay, and I'm
damn,
gonna tell
dog.
you why. Because I don't like. I'm so sick of the Germans. They're so good at what they do, and I just want
Just gotta knock them down.
I just want the Americans to be good at one thing, and this Mustang is my last hope before everything becomes electric. It doesn't sound like anything and sounds like the Jetson cars. This is
I
my
know.
last hurrah.
That's
so
it.
Ford, don't mess it up because I will be very disappointed.
I, for one, am embracing the Jetson car sound.
Okay, I did talk
don't
about it. I
mind
like it. It's
Yeah,
cool.
that's all right.
But yes, Porsches cost $114,000 brand new because of just the sheer amount of, you think about the active suspension and the dynamics behind this engine and
don't need all that crap.
the fact that the engine is in the back and okay, also
cares?
it's a low volume car, so
The Cayman's faster.
the volume is low, so then they have to
Honestly, the Cayman handles a lot better.
Okay, but they weigh the same, so it's the Cayman
But
is
the
a
dynamic,
fat
like
mid-engine
it's
sports
a
car.
mid-engine sports car.
But
so
that weighs the same as a 911.
I love
doesn't-
our
Heavy.
205,000 mile cheap Boxster better every single day.
Right.
Because it was
it
cheap.
just drives so
Cheap.
much better.
And it's just fun.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Anyway.
Moral of the story.
Don't buy an EV. Buy a 911.
Buy a 911. No. Buy the Mustang GTD, okay? Buy that. So Ford can make cool car. No. If you have a daily commute, but you're afraid of no charging stations, buy a Phev.
Plug-in
If
hybrid.
Yeah.
you
I
live
think-
in a good infrastructural area, buy a Phev, a battery electric vehicle. If you live in literally fuck nowhere, just
Get solar panels.
stick to your granddaddy's C10 Chevy pickup, because let me tell you, it gets you to A to B better.
Actually, C10, that's a good pickup truck.
Right.
Yeah, but haven't they shot up in value too?
Oh, really?
Everything has.
Everything
gosh.
has.
Everything is expensive. I don't care what car you want. Everything. We got to wrap it up.
Guys,
but,
we've blown an hour and 11 minutes.
I know.
already. It's
Yes.
flown by.
I
Yes,
know.
but last note, everything's expensive. Electric cars are coming down. The automakers they are thinking about their decisions. They are trying to make this a better place for EVs, for ICE engines, and for everybody to get along. So PHEVs all the way until the BEV can become everything that it is supposed to be.
And the government will always get their money.
Oh, yes. Greed. Greed. Let me tell you something about greed. The government will always get their money.
I think we can conclude with this.
Jeremy, say it with us now. The government,
The government will always get
their money.
Yeah.
$695 to register
renew it? Oh my
an
God.
Ionic 5
Dude, that's
in
wild.
the state of California.
What is the breakdown? What's on the bill? It's like
Because they're charging you the
Replacement
base.
of lost gas taxes.
Oh my God.
$500. No, I'm just making.
all right. It's been great, guys. This has been the Mischiefs podcast. The government will always get their money.
Yes.
Goodbye, everyone.
See you next time.
Sayonara. Bye.